Hey folks, welcome to a brand new episode of Investment Guide, the show where we try and do a deep dive into a variety of issues. We started off with the overall markets, we drilled it down to sectors, and today we're going to go back to our first love, which is the overall market picture, and talk about mid-caps. Hi Anuj.
Hi Sonia. So you know what, let me just give a bit of a background here, why we are doing this series, we're starting this series. A lot of people believe that the Indian markets follow what's been happening in Russell 2000. And in the mid-caps, while COVID marked a bit of a near-term break on the large-cap indexes this year, the mid-cap bull market ended in 2018. Mid-caps were already in a bear market. So what we're seeing right now is a huge comeback of the mid-caps. Price to book wise, the mid-caps have corrected very sharply. We're, I think, at 40 to 50% of peak value. And that's why, a lot of people believe that perhaps is a time to buy mid-caps. And that's why we are starting here a brand new sort of series on what to buy, what to avoid, how to buy. All these issues will be answered in CNBC TV 18 Investment Guide. Okay, our expert today is Pankaj Tibrewal, Senior Executive Vice President and Equity Fund Manager at Kotak Mahindra AMC. Pankaj, thanks a lot for joining us. Welcome to the show. Now, Pankaj, the big question is that are we at the cusp of a real recovery in the broader market? Because, broader market has gone through a lot of pain. This year, of course, everything went through pain, but broader market has been going through pain for the last 3 years. Do you think we're ending a bear market in the mid-caps?
Good afternoon, Anuj. Good afternoon, Sonia. What a year this has been till date. From peak in mid-January, we corrected by almost 38%. And from 23rd March lows, Nifty is up 65 and mid and small caps are higher than that. Who would have imagined that post-COVID, broader market would show signs of life? As you rightly said at the beginning, it's not only in India. Globally, Russell 2000 index this month itself is up 20%. And if it sustains for some more time, this will be the best ever month in the history of Russell 2000 in terms of gains. Similarly, in India, after 2017, as you rightly said, we saw a lot of pain in the broader markets. But calendar year to date, the broader market seems to be doing better than narrow indices, which is Sensex and Nifty. In the near term, markets do look a bit stretched and extended, and valuations look a bit expensive. But there are some interesting trends which are happening in the marketplace. The first one is that there's an expectation that next year we will transit from a virus year to a vaccine year. And the expectation is that growth will be more normalized in the time to come. If that's the case, broader markets normally see that they are more levered to the growth. And especially in India, the broader market is more levered to the domestic growth. So that's one thing we should all keep in mind, that after maybe 2.5, 3 years, the GDP will probably escalate rather than de-escalate. The second point, Anuj, is that the earning season has been extremely strong. The second quarter FY21 earnings has been one of the best in the last many years. And the breadth and width of the earning revision has been extremely positive. Just to give you some sense, except two sectors, which is utilities and capital goods, we have seen earnings beat across the sectors. Almost 70% of the universe has seen earnings upgrade, and the upgrade to downgrade ratio has been more than 4:1. This kind of results we have not seen for a very long period of time. And we have to compliment corporate India out here that despite of all the challenges, despite of no demand stimulus, the companies in the listed space have come out extremely resilient. And you have seen margin expansion happening. So I think broader market are looking extremely well poised for the next couple of years if earnings was to play out, and hence we are seeing that momentum starting to build in.
Okay, who would have thought, right, in a pandemic year we'll see such upgrades come through and such strong numbers as well. Pankaj, hi, welcome to the show. So I was going through a lot of brokerage reports, both foreign and domestic, and a slew of them came out with earnings upgrades in the last fortnight or so, whether it's CLSA, Credit Suisse, Motilal, Edelweiss. I want to understand, are we finally at the end of a perpetual downgrade cycle in earnings, or is it too soon to call that?
My sense, it is just one quarter right now. We have to wait for a few more quarters to make that comment. But the signs are encouraging, Sonia. If you look at this quarter, this is the highest ever quarter in terms of profitability by corporate India. If you look at, universe of about top 1,000 companies, the ex-BFSI and telecom, corporate India has delivered more than 1,30,000 crore of profits. This is the highest profit in a quarter compared to the history. The second point is that corporate India has seen the maximum margin expansion relative to Asia ex-Japan and relative to emerging markets. That means Indian corporates have done a far better job in cost control and productivity improvement. Third, the earnings revision in India has been the highest in the Asia Pac region and the other emerging markets. So clearly this has been a very encouraging quarter. In the next couple of quarters, our expectation is that a bit of margin reversal will happen, which we saw probably in the second quarter. Some of them will come, get rewinded because salary cost, ad expenditure, everything will come back. But the top line growth, if growth comes back on a normalized year, will give operating leverage to Indian corporates. And Sonia, just remember that this time, when you look at the first half cash flows and balance sheets, it has been extremely strong. Corporate India has worked on collections, lowering down the inventory to make their balance sheets more healthier and leaner. And I think that's the biggest positive takeaway for us from the second quarter. But it's too early to call as a secular cycle right now.
Got that. Now let's move on to some themes then, Pankaj, because PLI is being discussed as the next big thing, and we've all spoken about China Plus One, this whole Atmanirbhar theme. How do you play this particular theme?
A very good question, Anuj. I think this could be one of the very powerful themes, and for almost the last decade, our manufacturing contribution to GDP has been stagnant at about $400 to $450 billion. Through Atmanirbhar and China Plus strategy, we have started to see early green shoots. Let me give you a few examples, and that will probably give us some sense. There's a cluster called Morbi in Gujarat. This is the second largest cluster in the world for manufacturing of tiles. Earlier, our market share in exports to US was just 1.5%, which is same time last year. As we speak, Morbi has increased the market share to about 8% to US exports. And the loser has been China, because US has imposed anti-dumping duties on Chinese imports of tiles. The region which was doing 600-700 crores of exports a month is now doing more than 1,000 crores of export a month. And that's actually a China Plus strategy move. And in many other sectors where the government has been focused, and they have identified those 10-12 sectors, which is API, pharma, electronics, auto ancillary, we see very strong momentum being developed if the execution is kept in pace. And just doing rough ballpark numbers, if government was to spend 2 lakh crores approximately over the next few years, and that's approximately 5% incentive, what we are talking about is incremental 35 to 40 lakh crores of manufacturing revenues being created over the next few years. But always there's a if, the execution by Indian Inc. and government needs to happen. But this could be a very powerful theme going forward, which is China Plus, along with the Atmanirbhar across many sectors like chemical, electronics, API, pharma, defense, auto ancillary, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so we've spoken about a lot of things, and as we speak, we are getting a lot of queries on our social media platform as well. So I'm going to try and pop one query on the screen, coming in from Shyam now. Shyam, thanks for your question. He asks, given visible green shoots at various sectors, how should a retail investor manage his or her exposure risk? Well, you want to answer that? I mean, Pankaj, given that there are a lot of these trending sectors moving around, right? So what about exposure risks?
Obviously, one should not get carried away too much by the up move in the market as we speak. The rise has been very sharp. and one should make sure that they are invested at any point of time in quality companies and make sure that they do their research well before taking exposure to any stock or sector. And I think always we have seen that mistakes happen at the top of the market or at the market when it is euphoric. And hence one, as a retail investor, one should be careful making that mistake again.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's take a quick commercial break. We have many more questions for you and lots more to discuss. So don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back with our guests in just a bit, and continue to write in to us, tweet all your queries with the hashtag AskCNBCTV18. We'll be back in a second.
Welcome back. You're watching CNBC TV18 Investment Guide, and we are discussing mid-caps with one of India's best-known mid-cap fund manager, Pankaj Tibrewal of Kotak Mutual Fund. Pankaj, one theme which has played out is that sector leaders have done well. And number one player, of course, has been garnering the biggest market cap. And number two has also done well in certain cases, like in paints, for example. But this is another theme that you're backing right now, big getting bigger.
Absolutely, Anuj. Across sectors over the last decade, we have seen consolidation playing out, whether it's banking and financials, where PSUs used to be a dominant force. Slowly, they are losing market share to private sector banks. Insurance, we are seeing the same trend where the large private insurance companies continue to do extremely well. In cement, we have seen the same trend where every region has seen consolidation, and the top 4-5 guys command 70 to 80% of the market share of that region. We have seen that in aviation, we have seen that in paints, we have seen that in the entire home building material space as well. So I think if you look at over the last 10 years, there's normally a myth that in any crisis, mid and small caps tend to do very bad. But if you plot the 101th company, assuming that's a mid cap, till 650th company, and that's a universe of 550 companies, there are more than 220 companies which are category leaders in their own space. And they have only got stronger after every crisis. And there's an interesting study done by a brokerage that if you equally weight invested, if you would have invested on an equal weight portfolio 10 years back, your 100 rupees would have become 1,000 rupees in those category leaders. So I think it's very important that we back the right companies in the sectors which are represented in the broader market space. And I think there's a lot of opportunity over the next 4 to 5 years if economic growth was to return back in India.
Okay, in fact, we're going to talk about those opportunities now. We're getting some queries in. Sundar writes in to us, one of our investors. He wants to know about a sector that you were bullish on, Pankaj. He writes saying that Pankaj of Kotak Mutual Fund has been bullish on the home improvement theme, themes like Sheela Foam in the past. Does he still hold on to that view? What would your view be? I mean, so far, this entire theme has played out well, but do you think that there is another bull phase to it?
So, yes, Sonia, I think the entire building material and the home improvement space looks extremely attractive. Over the last 4-5 years, we have seen that the underlying sector where they derive the demand from, which is real estate, has been extremely slow. We are seeing the early signs or the macro tailwind starts to begin, where the registration data on the real estate seems to be extremely encouraging. And our channel check suggests that the inventory levels of across the home building space is at extremely low levels, whether it be in tiles, plywood, pipes, paints, wires and cables, consumer durables. And I think there has been a strong demand uptick. And people in this pandemic have realized the value of home. And I think everybody has realized to upgrade themselves either in a new home or in their existing home. So I think for the next 2-3 years, if real estate demand tailwind continues, we believe this sector is well poised. Most of the leaders in this sector in the down cycle have managed the return on capital at about 17, 18, 19%. Balance sheets are in a much better shape. Balance sheet and cash flows seems to be extremely strong, and they have gained market share from unorganized over the last 3-4 years. And our sense is that if demand tailwind is there, they can compound for the next few years and times to come.
Okay, that's an interesting theme. The other one which has played out, Pankaj, is digitization. But that of course started with work from home. But right now, what's the way to play this theme?
I think world and India, every businesses have realized post-pandemic that you need to have both the back end and front end and on IT infrastructure, and you need to have very strong digital backbone and front end to support your business. We believe that in India, the first way to play is through IT services. The commentary coming out after even second quarter results have been extremely encouraging. Companies and managements have spoken about that there has been a front loading of digital transformation spends across their client base. And this is very, very encouraging sign that after a single digit growth for last 5 years, can Indian IT sector grow in double digits in times to come. The second, I think, is very important that in our investee companies, we ask tough questions on what are they doing to increase their online sales and digital spends, and what is their digital strategy. And I'm sure in every sector there will be winners who will be doing things differently. The third thing, Anuj, and it's completely out of box thought process, that over the next 2-3 years, I think we will see a very big transformation in the index, the way index has been constructed in India. A large number of platforms and unicorns which today we are not able to invest because they are in a private space, probably at some point of time over the next 2-3 years, they would come for listing in the public markets as well. Whether it be the likes of Paytm, Byju's, so many large platforms which we have not been able to do that. And mind you, these are not driven by any promoters. They are funded by private equity venture capital, and hence whenever they get listed, they will have a very high free float. So I think that will be another way to play the digitalization theme going forward, and we should be open to that idea.
Okay, we don't have much time, but I want to squeeze in one last question on the export theme, because it is one theme that has played out really well up until now. Are you still betting on that, Pankaj?
Yeah, I think so. I think after a long time, this China Plus strategy is giving a lot of demand momentum to many sectors and Indian entrepreneurs. We see that export being played out in pharma, and India has become the pharmacy to the world. And if world needs to vaccinate 7 billion people, who will manufacture it? Finally, Indian pharma companies need to do that. We have seen that, normally we have seen that in other sectors also. Yes, Anuj.
Okay, all right. We've actually run out of time, but it was really a pleasure speaking with you, Pankaj. Thanks a lot for joining us and explaining to us the different sectors that one needs to look at. I think, Anuj, it seems like, at least the way experts are saying, that perhaps there's more to this rally, especially in the mid caps and the small caps.
No, there's more to the rally, but I'll say one thing, there will be risks as well. And right now things are looking good because there's a lot of liquidity. You'll have to be really careful. Right now, Sonia, the market's in a phase where it's, a bit charitable. It's, it's not punishing you for your mistakes.
And a bit of exuberance as well.
Yes, but there's a lot of value in the mid caps, and that's why I think over the next 2 to 3 weeks or so, we'll keep getting, more of the views on the broader market.
Okay, with that, it's curtains down on another edition of Investment Guide. Thanks so much for tuning in, and keep watching CNBC TV 18. Keep sending us your queries as well. All you got to do is add the hashtag AskCNBC TV 18, and we will take them up with our experts on the show.